Dear students, today we are going to know very crucial topic in English methodology. A person or a student who wants to learn English language, he must follow this way. It is Lsrw and also called the fourfold skills of language. The sequence was first established by Harold E. Palmer. And here it plays these factors plays a vital role in the learning of language, that is English, by any person, any student. And here we discuss one by one whether we have to these four language skills learn individually or in an integrated manner. See that here the first thing is listening. First thing is listening. From the dawn to the dusk, every day we listen a number of issues. Starting from our home, on the road, and to school, or some reaching our destiny place, we have been listening. We listen every day. But do we call all the listenings that we experience every day or daily? Or is there any differences between them, our listenings? Yes, there are always. Listening, every day we do listening, but that cannot be called the listening. That is called hearing. That is called hearing. When we know these slight difference between this hearing and listening, then we will know what is listening and what is hearing. Hearing comes into our mind without our interest, without our readiness, without our need. But here, listening does not come to our minds like that. Hearing, it happens whether we listen or not, whether we invite or not, it happens. And it is a physical issue. And listening is a cognitive issue related to mind. Related to mind listening, whereas related to body physical. And listening requires concentration, readiness, interest. These all require the listening. But it may not require this hearing may not require those issues. Listening is the shortest way to learn a language. So, what does it mean? It tells us every language comes through this listening. It is the first gate of learning a language. A person who listens well will become a good user of the language or a good learner of the language. And see, why do we listen? Why do we listen? We listen in our life for a number of reasons, number of purposes. For number of reasons or purposes. For we listen for to get or for information. Information. For information. And for communication. For communication. To get knowledge. To get knowledge. To teach. To teach. To solve problems. Solve problems. To understand. To understand. To give directions. To give directions. See this. We have many. Why do we listen? This question, the answer of this question, why do we listen, is we listen for the communication, for the information, for the communication, to get knowledge, to teach, to solve the problems, to enjoy listening, for the enjoyment also, to enjoy also, we listen something that may be the music. And here, for these purposes, we listen. But what listen needs? Listening needs what listening needs. Listening needs concentration. Listening needs concentration. Listening needs readiness. This means when the persons who want to learn language, if they listen with the concentration, with the need and with the readiness, then they can only understand what they listen. Their purpose will be fulfilled when they pay attention or the concentration towards the listening. And types of listening. Come to the types of listening. We may have number of types. Intensive listening. Intensive listening. Intensive listening. Extensive listening. Extensive listening. Extensive listening. Casual listening. Casual listening. Gist listening. Appreciate listening. Appreciate listening. And we have more. It means we listen intensively in order to get the material, message from the listening. That is called intensive listening. It is possible in the classrooms, court hall, some announcements, some reports, announcements of reports. When we are listening like these issues, we pay or the listeners pay attention, and it is. And here listening, intensive listening means not the structure only the listening and the semantics of that and the pronunciation of that, all pronunciation, syntax, and meaning. These all include in the intensive listening. And then come to the extensive listening. Here extensive listening depends to get more information, more enjoyment, more coverage. We do the extensive listening. It may not be purposeful or may be purposeful, and it is. And here casual listening, we come across with a number of people. They are listening, they listen music, and they do some work by listening music. And we also, when we are traveling, we see the drivers, they are listening some music and they are doing their driving. And some workers are by listening songs or by singing themselves songs, they do their works. That is also, it is called the casual listening. It is the listening in order to know the complete matter in a nutshell. When we do listen, that kind of listening is known as the gist listening. And then appreciate listening. Here appreciate, in order to appreciate the speaker, when we listen and we say some words and we forward some words towards that speaker, then it will be called the appreciate listening. And it is about the types of listening. And we have an interesting topic also, that is that is top-down listening. Top-down listening and bottom-up listening. Yes, it's very, very important topic here. In the top-down listening, the listener comes from total knowledge or from his previous knowledge. On the basis of his previous knowledge, he listens. From the bottom-up listen, from words, sentences, and understanding these means and identifying the meaning of the listened matter goes in the bottom-up listening. Whereas utilizing listening as a whole and utilizing the previous knowledge of listeners goes in the top-down listening. It's about listening. When come to the speaking is called somewhat difficult skill and productive skill also. Productive skill, it produces, so that it is called productive skill. And why it is difficult? When compared with the listening, reading, writing, most of the people feel that speaking is somewhat difficult. How is it difficult? And here speaking means the expression of one's own ideas and thoughts. Expression of one's own ideas and thoughts. It is called listening. It is called speaking. And we have speaking is nothing but encoding the, decoding is but decoding the encoding ideas. Encoding ideas. It means in the speaking purpose, in the speaking process, the speakers they give the shape of words, and sentences to their ideas, already kept in their minds. Here it processes the speaking process like this. Here why we say or we feel that speaking is difficult, because speaking needs a speaking partner. Or he has, or the speaker has to speak in the presence of some people, whoever they may be. So whenever a person wants to speak the foreign language, he feels something shy and fear, because he has to perform his knowledge, English knowledge, in the foreign language in front of some people, so that speaking with the other persons or speaking with other in the presence of other persons will create a phobia to the speaker to speak well. That is why we feel, or most of the teachers or the other persons feel, that speaking is very difficult than the other skills. And why do we speak? It's a question. It gets answer just why do we do listening? And here the same answers what we have known while knowing the benefits of listening, we also here write those to get information, communication, sharing of ideas, expressing problems, asking help, advices, and so many like these benefits that we get through speaking. Come to the reading. Reading is a passive skill. And receptive skill also. Reading. And generally we put a question, what is reading? Reading, first of all, we see the symbol. We see the symbol and then sound it and then sense it. Sense it. It means reading is a process that involves these three activities: symbol, seeing the symbol, sounding that, and getting the sense of that reading. And read and we have number of types of reading. Types of reading: intensive reading, extensive reading, a loud reading versus silent reading. Organic reading versus graphic reading. Gist reading versus appreciate reading. Scaffold reading versus critical reading. These are the types of reading. Intensive reading means reading intensively in order to know what is there in the sentences, the syntax and the semantics, knowing all come in the intensive reading. Everything is understood by the reader in case of intensive reading, and a number of things related to reading come in the intensive reading, and there will be the purpose is there. The purpose, interest involves in the intensive reading. And extensive reading, here it is also known as speed reading, for enjoyment and for coverage, like these issues, like these benefits we get by intensive reading, and it is also called story reading. And in the academic textbooks, in the academic courses, we have supplementary reader, non-detailed textbook. The reading of non-detailed textbook also comes in the extensive reading here. Here the syntax and the meaning may not important, but here the enjoyment of the readers is given topmost priority. And here loud reading, loud and silent here, uttering the sounds loud with voice is called loud reading. But most of the people criticize this loud reading, but it has its own benefits. Loud reading. Maria Montessori says that Loud reading. Loud reading is barking at the print. Barking at the print. But most people criticize this, but it has got its own benefits also. We train in pronunciation, spellings, knowledge of silent letters is possible in the loud reading only. And here silent reading. Michael West emphasizes the importance of silent reading. It it enriches the comprehension levels of the students, silent reading, and also it is useful for read more and comprehend, and it is for competitive examinations purpose. Students are recommended to do silent reading. And here organic reading, and this is the graphic reading. Here, not knowing the discrete words, knowing the pictures, diagrams, graphs, tables, by reading these and getting matter is known as organic reading. Whereas graphic reading, it is very, very interesting. Graphic reading is by illiterate. They can read what they want. They are recognized on the basis of the color and the color. They can, their previous experience with that particular issue, they can identify or they can read the things, but they don't know even the letters that contain that that article contains, or book, whatever. And it is in order to know complete summary, we do the gist reading. Whereas to appreciate the writer who wrote the book or who gives the message, that is called the appreciate reading. And then scaffold reading, and giving information, scaffold, knowing and doing a bird's eye, getting all in one time, knowing or reading is called the scaffold reading. Critical, in order to judge or give a judgment a person does, that is called the critical reading. And it is about the types of reading. Come to the reading methods.